This is Supernatural Selection on DeviantBehaviorRadio.com, hosted by Kevin the Bastard.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Supernatural Selection. I'm your host, Kevin the Bastard. I have another special guest with me this week.
Mike?
This is Mike. Mike is my best friend and co-worker and all that fun stuff. And more importantly, Mike is a skeptic.
Mike the Skeptic, I guess?
Mike the Skeptic. I like that. That's a good name for you. Mike the Skeptic is going to be...
I don't believe in shit. I don't even believe in you.
That's right.
I believe in you, but not in you.
You believe in my abilities, but you don't believe that I exist.
Correct.
Okay. How the fuck does that work?
It's complicated. I'm a complicated guy.
You are a complicated motherfucker.
And I'm very simple.
Okay, that's true too. So, last week we talked about the Mothman, which is a pretty cut and dried thing. This week, we're going to talk in general about internet weirdos. And we're going to bring up like some folks like I'm sure you've heard of John Titor. But recently, it has come to my attention that there's a guy from Reddit. His username is Throwawaylien.
So Reddit it is, huh?
Reddit it is.
Alright, let me strap in.
Alright, get yourself another drink. Because Throwawaylien is obviously a throwaway account. Says,
you don't say?
Yeah! Throwaway account because I'm afraid. Now, I'm not going to read this whole thing to you. I just want to get the gist across to you, okay?
Right.
Now, this is obviously about alien abduction. Now, I'm also going to say these episodes will run as long as they need to. So, throwaway account because I'm afraid. I was first, quote-unquote, abducted in 1987. I was 12 years old. I say abducted, but it's not like that. Actually, you go willingly. It's scary, but it's exciting too. And they're somehow able to make you feel okay about things. It's not until later that you feel bad or like you've been violated. And they don't do a lot of probing, like raping or anything like that. That's Hollywood nonsense. They look inside of people sometimes, but they have machines that do it. Not really machines, but it's like a room where things get done and the walls are... It's hard to explain, so just imagine that all the walls are kind of like x-ray machines. That's the easiest way to describe it. Sometimes there would be others there, and they would be looking into them, or they'd put them under and cut them open, but not usually. They took tissue samples from all of us. I think, and they never put you under or give you any anesthetic or anything. They just poke you. With like those things, they take samples of the ocean floor. Like that, but really small. They pull out chunks of you. It's usually done on a butt or the lower back. Mostly, they talked with me. Just questions, and they'd show me things. Like television shows and things. And they'd ask me questions about them. I think the walls measured your reaction to things, too. Same as they take x-rays. Yeah. I don't know that, but it's like the feeling that I got.
Nielsen's getting really involved, aren't they?
It really is, man. All this to find out if you're watching reruns of Cheers. They never let you ask questions about what they're doing, even once I got friendly with them.
You just said they ask questions.
Yeah, but you can't ask them questions.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah, they just don't like it when you ask them questions. They hate it. You can't understand their language. It just sounds like... I'm positive that we'll never be able to communicate with them in their language. I should mention that these are the, quote, grays that you hear about, except they aren't gray. They're sort of beige, and it's clothes anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, they're grays, but they're not gray. I mean, what?
Doesn't everybody say they're gray?
Everybody except for Roswell said they were gray.
What did Roswell say?
Roswell said they were like neonatal looking dudes, like unborn fetuses that were like pink. They didn't have thumbs and they were like covered in peach fuzz. Indeed. I'm confused by that. Anyway, the point is, this guy keeps going on talking about like, they can't hear very well or else they're not good understanding English, so you have to speak loudly and slowly. like an American. I don't know if they understood other language, but I'm pretty sure they would. They're interested in all of us, in everything that goes on. They like a lot of things about our culture, too. They like some of our music. Bluegrass is their favorite so far as I've seen. They like it a lot. They love that African instrument that looks like a gourd.
So did this guy just not get drunk and wake up in an old folks' home or something?
I don't know. But they cannot stand horns or horn music, so they hate classical music and jazz. I think trumpets sort of sound like their language.
He does know that, there's other classical music other than horns, like...
I don't think that he does.
Okay.
This guy does not come off as the most intelligent dude I've ever read.
Really? I think you're being a little too critical there.
I don't know, Mike. I think maybe I'm right here. But the point is, this dude talks about being taken up by these aliens, and he makes friends with two of them, named Jack and Gina.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what episode of The Young and the Restless that's from. But he talks about how they don't answer questions, but they ask him questions, and they show him home movies of the Earth and ancient humans. And he does mention, like, this big building somewhere in Europe that's been destroyed. And then they discover that super old temple in Turkey. The one that's, like, 10,000 years old. Anyway, guy goes on to claim that they don't hurt people.
Okay.
They just, like, do all this stuff and, like, scoop your butt, I guess. And, like, he gets taken up every few years, and other people get taken up every few years, and I really need to point this out. I think I forgot to mention this at the beginning. This post was made 7 years ago. 2014.
Yeah.
Alright? So, he says at disclosure, like, the full alien thing is going to happen on July 8th or the 18th.
Because those are...
Of 2021.
Easily confused, I guess.
Well, with their language, you can't tell because, they mumble a lot. They're like SoundCloud rappers. And I was like, okay, I want to read this to Mike because I'm sure he'd have a field day with this. And then it turns out, a couple of days ago, the guy came back to Reddit.
Guy came back
The very
7 years later.
Yeah. So July 18th and hoaxers. Commenting here was a mistake, and I wish I hadn't done it. It changed everything for me, but not all in bad ways, but mostly in bad ways. I'm commenting again now because there are people on Reddit and probably elsewhere who are claiming to be aliens and that I am a government agent or an alien agent or something like that, and they're all lying. I'm talking about the history of the Earth guy and the end of an era contact guy. Okay, here's the deal. Guy comes back 7 years later and says that, like, they're pissed at him.
They probed him extra hard for revealing this.
No, they never probed him.
I know, but, I'm using probe here in a general sense. They
did tell him things were going to be different, and Jack left, and Gina shows back up, but Gina is different this time. It's Gina 2, he says.
Electric Boogaloo?
Indeed. Gina 2 Electric Boogaloo shows up, and she is like, ask me questions. Go on. I dare you. Ask me questions.
So the aliens Reddit stalked him.
Yes. Because he said, okay, he starts claiming that, like, the government started tracking him. And, like, he was abducted for days on end by the CIA. But they never followed him. I'm like, how would you know whether they were or were not following you? But he says the only people that would know were Jack and Gina. So they told the CIA. And he apologizes in this post, saying that, I was wrong. The aliens do hurt people. Not often, but sometimes.
Well, you hurt the ones you love.
Always. Come here, Mike. I'm going to hurt you. No.
Ow.
So, anyway, he says that, like, because of what he's done, the plan has changed. And that, like, when what happens on the 18th happens, it's going to be worse for us. And, like, he saw, like, military people up the last time he was up a few weeks ago. Like, on the ship. And they were talking about, there was stuff circled on a map that looked like around Wyoming and West Africa and China.
Okay, Kevin, say you are a person that uses a boat. Anything. You could be a fisherman, someone just likes taking a boat out.
Sure.
You find your boat has leaks.
Okay.
What do you do? Are you going to continue to use that boat?
Hell no.
He's a leaky boat. Why? If this was real, why would they continue to abduct him and say, here's all this shit?
Yeah, no. I mean, obviously, you're right. Why would they keep telling him shit? Why would he even continue to be abducted? Except that he said that they're gonna take him this next time. When they take him up, they're gonna take him back to their home planet. And then they're gonna kill him.
They could do that a lot easier than taking him all the way back to their planet.
That's a lot of fuel to kill a guy.
They work with the CIA, right, apparently?
Yeah.
You just have the CIA bump him off.
Yeah, it's like, okay. It's like...
I mean...
It's like 70 billion quadrigal drags.
Even if they want his corpse for something, why not kill him before they take him back?
Yeah, it's like 70 billion quadrigal drags for fuel to come here to Earth, pick him up, take him home, then shoot him. Or, ring ring,
Okay.
this is Glip Glop, could you shoot Steve? Thanks.
Or even that. Not even that. Just, abduct him. And if they want to kill him, just kill him, put him on ice. Because...
Or fucking inject him into space.
Well, like I'm saying, my theory here is that... is that if they say they want his body for some reason, say they want to take it back, and let the school children back there dissect him like a frog.
Look, Mrs. Stevens, I've got
still-
my hand up the human. He's a muppet.
When you're getting frogs for dissection, when the school gets frogs for dissection, they don't send them live frogs and you kill them in the classroom.
No.
Someone gets the frogs, kills them, freezes them, ships them to the science, company that sells science shit to schools.
Science Incorporated.
And they sell it to the fucking schools.
Yeah.
So, because if they take him back, I don't know how long how fast their travel is supposed to be.
I think his implication is that they're extra dimensional.
Oh, so they're not even. It's not even like a
No, it's
travel
like.
time. But even then, he's still breathing their air.
He's still. Yeah, you got to factor in the fucking life support money.
And, what if he has to take a really big dump between the time they abduct him and the time they off him?
Nobody ever talks about UFO toilets.
No, they don't.
I want to know about UFO toilets.
So I tell you one thing: if I was abducted in the middle of the night, I'd have to take a piss. I mean, anyone over the age of 35 would have to take a piss.
Yeah, no. The first words out of my mouth, I end up on that ship is, "You need to have a toilet real bad, or we're gonna have some major problems here that someone's gonna have to clean up."
That's something they don't tell you about when you're growing up. You're gonna pee a lot more.
You're gonna pee a hell of a lot more. And, that really does factor into... And the thing is, he talked about how they stop abducting people when they're around 40 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm reading that. I'm like, ooh, is it because of genetic... No, they just don't want to deal with people pissing. I think that's it. Now that we come to talk about it, he did talk about how, they stop abducting people around age 40. That is ageist as shit.
That means we won't get abducted.
I'm okay with that.
Abducted?
Abducted. So, I don't know, I'm kind of glad. I don't really want to get picked up by aliens and then be like, I got pee. So, anyway.
Think of experiencing the alien toilet, though. You're like, oh, do it anywhere, and you just, start peeing, and it's just like...
Yeah, what if this big...
does this, roller coaster loop-to-loop as it, flies up into, a grating on the wall?
That would be badass. Or what if, the floor just turned into a big fucking mouth and was like, Adam, oh, it's so good, Adam, give me more.
I would never pee again.
I would never piss for as long as I live. I would die from a ruptured bladder.
Donald Trump would pee all the time.
Oh, Donald Trump will be all over that shit, dude. Anyway, guy says that, the plan for the 18th has changed. And, he doesn't know how it's changed. And like I said, they've got, Wyoming, that general area circled, and, China, and West Africa. And
Wyoming.
That general... He said that there were no lines showing where the states were, so he's guessing.
But that's still the middle of fucking nowhere.
Okay, here's a question, Mike. This is my big thing. Where is Yellowstone?
Yellowstone is...
Is that Montana? Colorado?
Fuck, I don't know.
Man, don't tell me fuck. Wait, they talk... Well, while you're looking that up, they're talking about killing him and everything. Well, he thinks they're going to kill him. They haven't told him they're going to kill him. Because why would you tell somebody, yeah, we're going to, like, take you home with us and kill you? Because that would be really stupid. So, he's,
So you're thinking it has something to do with the caldera.
Yeah, that's my personal theory. This is nothing from Reddit at all.
Yeah.
So, he's talking about all this stuff where they're going to come pick him up.
It's in Wyoming.
It is in Wyoming.
Northwest Wyoming.
Son of a bitch. I may be right if any of this were real. Anyway, my thinking is that what they're going to do is they're going to detonate the caldera. And, like, West Africa, I don't know what the deal's going on with there. Like, maybe that's a survivor camp. But I got to thinking, you know what they've been doing in China for years and years to keep the industrial boom going? Building empty cities.
Yeah.
What if it's like City 17 in Half-Life? And they're building these places as like where the survivors go after the caldera blows.
Or they're just building it because they don't know economics very well.
Okay, that's fair. They are communists.
No. Well,
No.
they're what is it they call it? Is it
Socialist capitalism?
No. They say something with Chinese features. I forget what it is. Is it communism with Chinese features?
I guess.
Think
Because they
so.
do have like a free market kind of thing going.
So it's their own brand of whatever it is. But I mean, there's abandoned cities all over. Most of these.
Oh, I know. But like,
giant
still.
dictatorships.
Like, if
that.
I were writing a movie,
Yeah.
this is definitely how I'd write it. Like, this is definitely what I do. It's like, this is the survival areas. Because, like, especially if you're going with, like, few survivors, you know.
Chinese ain't letting nobody in.
Yeah, but this is after the aliens take over and they don't have a say.
There's probably a super volcano in China and in Africa, too. I think if they're going to do that, it'd just be like full-on wipe-out extinction event.
Sure. Okay, so dude talks about how, like, you remember I told you they showed him, like, home videos of Earth, like, ancient Earth and stuff?
Home videos like stuff that aliens made?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of, like, ancient Earth, like Egypt, with the pyramids being built and shit
that
like that.
8mm film grain stuff
Sure,
going
why
on.
not? Yeah, kind of like that scene in Coneheads where it's showing their daughter grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that kind of thing.
The thing where it's kind of slightly overcranked in there. The ancient Egyptians were walking a little faster.
When I look back on all the crap I learned in high school. Yeah, that. So, anyway, he says that Jack and Gina told him, yeah, we didn't take that. That came from the race that was monitoring y'all, but we wiped them out. And they fucking sucked. We hated those guys. They were assholes. And we took over. And then, on July 18th, some other alien species is supposed to take over. And I'm like, didn't you just say you have no idea what's going to happen on the 18th? And now you're saying that some other species is taking over?
And this alien race that they somehow know they're going to get wiped out. Are they going to be wiped? Is it going to wipe out the alien race, or are they just going to like?
I'm wondering if it's like a shift change.
Shift change, or like, is it like Russia annexing Crimea kind of thing?
I don't know.
But they know it's coming, obviously.
They know it's coming. They told them it's coming. And I don't know what any of this is supposed to mean. I mean, it's hard to get logic from like a fucking schizophrenic mind.
Well, yeah, but I'm assuming we're operating under the impression here, at least for the moment, that this is credible. I mean, that's
we're just going by, let's assume for the moment that this is like some real shit that's going down.
Yeah, I mean, we're discussing it as if it was a credible
Not that
source.
we honestly think this is a credible
Oh,
source.
God, no.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, no.
I mean, I'm Mike the Skeptic. That
Obviously.
means that I am not standing up and calling bullshit because, well, that wouldn't be fun, would it?
If you did, you would have started the beginning of the episode and we wouldn't be here
You
now.
would have read me that thing. I would have said bullshit and walked out and got another drink.
Exactly. Which I feel like I need another drink after talking about this. Because, holy shit, this is insane. But the point is, and then the guy goes on and like, what kills me is you're gonna love this, all the pseudonyms he gives humans that have experience with the aliens are taken from Cheers.
Okay.
In this story. Coach, Woody, Norm, it's fucking hilarious. Because I'm sitting here going, I skimmed a little bit and I get to Coach, Woody, Norm. I'm like, please tell me that this guy thinks Cheers is based on his fucking life. Please, for the love of God, tell me that's what happened. But no, he is like, I don't give a shit. I've been watching Cheers. Here's the names I'm using. And I'm like, dang it. So he goes on about that. And like I said, the aliens, another race taking over. And like, it's going to be bad for humanity this time, he thinks, because
extra anal probings, I guess. Or they're going to start the anal probings.
He tattled on them.
So, let me get this straight.
Mm-hmm.
So, he talked about the current alien overlords? Not really overlords.
Observers?
He talked about the current alien observers.
And their plan.
So that means the ones that are going to take over are going to be worse. They're going to be like, hey, this guy talked.
And I'm going to go out here, and this didn't dawn on me till just now. Humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Those of you that are listening to this podcast, radio show, whatever, when the shit goes down, and you've got something the size of a Smith County watermelon shoved up your ass, rotating, possibly with spikes, blame Throwawaylien. Because if he had kept his goddamn mouth shut, we'd be better off.
So, here's how about this for an analogy?
Okay.
So, in this analogy, humanity are lab mice, because that kind of sounds what we're like. You know, they're study subjects, right?
Oh yeah. That brings in a whole other thing. But yes, go ahead.
But at a university laboratory.
Okay.
So you got students working on these, lab mice, right? They're doing whatever the fuck, lab
and maybe
experiments.
they develop an attachment to us. Who knows?
Not really an attachment, but they're working on these mice, right?
Sure.
Well, then a new semester starts. New students come in. Are they going to treat the mice like shit just because one of the mice didn't perform well? I mean, I'm assuming these aliens follow some form of scientific method. Well, they're not doing this just because they're weird, fucked up freaks.
I didn't tell you the best part about the whole reason they're studying us that he's figured out.
Oh, this will be a doozy.
I want you to put on your goddamn seatbelt. It's because we believe in God.
So they're studying our religiosity?
They're studying our religiousitude. That is a word you can only say while drunk.
Religiousness.
Religiousness. They're studying us because we believe in God, and their theory is that either they're the focus of this simulation and we're the abhorrent part of the program, or we're the center of the simulation, and they're the abhorrent part of the program.
But they have not come to the conclusion that there is no simulation.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm fucking saying, Mike.
So you bring up this. So obviously
he
brought up
the fucking simulation.
Well, you bring up the part of his thing about the simulation, which I have a whole big problem about the simulation theory.
Oh, I'm sure.
The universe.
Because I've got one too, which is I don't want to deal with it.
So, here's my problem with the simulation theory. If you're simulating something, what does it take to run a simulation?
A computer.
Processing power.
Yes.
At our current level of fidelity, we can't simulate anything. I mean,
The Sims is the best we got, and they piss on themselves and cry.
Our best simulations are not real time.
No.
Of anything. Not even basic stripped down simulations. And I'm talking about using a room full of computers.
Yeah. And I gotcha.
In a computing sense, there is a quantifiable smallest amount of computing you can do. Like the smallest, because computing basically is a switch.
I
Like
really
basic
need to
element.
warn you one very important thing while you're discussing this. I am drunk,
Yeah, I know.
and there's no goddamn way I can follow this.
Okay, but think about when you're
There's
processing
only so
information.
much a processor can do.
Well, when you're processing information, it's basically billions of little switches, right? Off or on.
Yeah, 1010101.
Even if you're talking about, even if you could make switches at the atomic level, like 3 atoms, right? You know, an on
one
and off.
for base, off, on, and
Yeah,
neutral.
even if you could do that, it would still take 3 atoms to run just your basic on-off operation. It would take millions of those to simulate a single atom.
Yeah.
So you see what I'm getting? To simulate the whole... I mean...
To simulate an
to,
atom,
to
it would
simulate
take-
the Earth as a physical object.
It would take
It would
something
take more...
larger than the Earth.
It would take a computer processing... Basically a computer... the size and mass of more than the entire universe.
I may have shit myself.
So that's my problem with the whole computer simulation
No,
theory.
I understand.
Is
I
that
understand.
the amount of basically hardware necessary to do it is impossible.
Okay, now, abandoning your fucking science and realistic viewpoint, let's go back to this nut job for a second and his view of the world as a simulation. I'm fascinated by the fact that the aliens are like, I don't know which one of us is the fuck up.
They don't even have a working hypothesis.
They don't. These are the worst scientists These are the second worst scientists I've ever heard of because I just remembered the movie Prometheus.
Well, I guess they're both fiction, but...
Motherfucker, I mean, like, seriously. Like, they're both fiction, but, like, the aliens still edge him out over the ones in Prometheus, because...
This guy couldn't even come up with a better story, like, maybe the aliens think, well, what if their God is real? And
Mike, this dude's writing is essentially, and then some shit happened. And then Jack
I know
said
that.
something, and some more shit happened.
I'm tearing down the veil, though.
No.
But this guy is not creative enough to come up with the basic thought of the aliens are trying to find our God.
Oh no, they're dead certain it's a simulation or a dream.
A dream.
Which, I've had dreams, and you know what? Background shit is not in my dreams.
No.
No. So, given what you know from what I've told you,
Yeah.
this dude's obviously off his meds, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, like, this dude is, like, schizophrenic as shit.
I don't think he's ever been diagnosed or medicated.
Okay, that's fair. But this dude is obviously, like, schizophrenic or psychotic or whatever.
Yeah.
He is like, to quote Henry Zabrowski, cuckoo bananas. Yeah, okay. So dude's out there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at 30 minutes. We're going to keep going for a while because I really want to talk about John Titor. Are you familiar with Mr. Titor?
No, not at all.
Late 90s, early 2000s, this dude shows up literally on a time travel forum.
Mm-hmm.
Named John Titor. Says he is from...
He's the time traveler guy?
Yeah, he's a famous time traveler guy.
Sounds familiar.
That came from like 50, 100 years in the future, whatever. Said the world went through like all these horrible apocalypses and what have you. And traveled back to the 1970s to pick up an old-ass IBM computer that can be used to debug modern supercomputers because of the way it's set up. Like, that is not a questionable thing. They actually do this. They use this old-ass computer because of the way it's made. It's really good at just debugging supercomputers. Claiming he's gone back to get one of those because they don't have them in the future. He stops here because of, I guess, family? I don't know. Anyway, he stops here and he's talking about how he's got, like, attachments to the early 2000s. And he says that history is different in this timeline than the one he left. But what interests me about Titor is he says that some of the things that hadn't happened that were supposed to have happened at the point he was in was the United States being split due to a presidential election.
Okay.
followed by a plague.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, yeah, I don't know what's up. The timeline's different. Things are different. But, when the whole 2016 election happened, followed by COVID, I actually started thinking about John Titor, and I'm like, what's two things he talked about? They just happened later.
Yeah.
It's weird to me. Like, what do you think?
I mean, on a long enough time scale, epidemiologists have been saying for ages that we're overdue for a pandemic event.
That's true.
So that doesn't surprise
predictable.
me. And American politics is just so divisive.
That's true. We have been headed down that road for a long time.
Not
like,
really.
Since the founding of the country and the whole issue
since
of
the
slavery.
80s.
Definitely since the 80s.
Pretty much the whole history of American politics has been one of divisiveness. But, so I don't think it takes a fucking genius to, see that those two things were coming. If he had, predicted, fucking blue crab people rising up out of the ground, and that just happened a decade later than he said it would happen, I would give him some credit.
Okay, now, it's 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Last year was a fuck.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that, okay, I really don't want it to happen, but there's a part of me that's really hoping that the blue crab people show up next month. You're like, holy fuck, John Titor.
Yeah.
I guess you were time travel Jesus. I think what it is I just really want something to be right in all this crazy mess.
Well, yeah, because it'd be exciting at least. And exciting in an interesting way, not exciting in a, hey, we gotta stay home for 20 months kind of way.
Sure. Okay.
Not exciting in a, hey, we lost power for a week and a half kind of way.
Yeah.
Twice this year.
Oh, god damn it. Fucking ice storms and then a tornado landing in the backyard.
I'm saying that 2020 may have been kind of bad, but 2021 isn't no spring chicken either.
Well, it also, I don't know, it hasn't been as bad.
For the world, it's probably better. But.
I guess, yeah. But, speaking of it, let's talk about time travel for a second in general. There have been a lot of people that turn up that say they're from the future, and, there's that one guy that turned up.
Remember the classified ad?
Oh, God, yes. Safety not guaranteed guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great just on general principle. I've only done this once before. It's that's the part that really sticks with me. It's like, motherfucker, you did this once. It's like, I cannot guarantee your safety. You will die. But how about that guy that got busted for insider trading because he made an obscene amount of money at the stock market, and he said that the reason he knew what to invest in was because he was a time traveler, and he would show them where the time machine was if they would drop the charges. And they didn't, and the motherfucker disappeared.
I've never heard of this before.
Really? It's one of my favorite time travel stories just because it's that's fucked up. That's you remember that episode of Next Generation where Matt Frewer shows up as the time traveler?
Yeah.
He's real fucking annoying.
It turns out he stole a time traveler's
ship. He was from the past, stole a dude from the future's time machine, and came to a little less further in the future. That's who I pictured this guy as. So, time travel, Mike. Mike the Skeptic, what is your feelings on time travel? Your personal feelings. I'm not talking about science. I'm not talking about what you read on Slashdot.
My personal feelings are, my personal feelings are to go with science because it seems to me that if time travel was possible, it will happen, means it would have already happened, which means either two things, causality is set. And
this is if you've time traveled into the past, it has already been recorded that you time traveled into the past because you cannot change the past.
If you time traveled into the past, it has already happened.
Yeah.
And whatever you change would have already happened.
Yeah, exactly. You're just completing the circuit.
Or the multiple timelines is the thing, which means we're in a reality where nobody has overtly traveled back in time. I mean, meaning as in they haven't changed anything enough for us to notice.
But what about the Mandela effect?
That's just, Kevin, that's just the same thing as everyone remembering Optimus Prime turning to dust when he died.
Okay,
That's
a
wrong
very good
memories.
point. But I swear to God, it was the Bernstein Bears. There was an animated goddamn series I watched as a kid, and it was the Bernstein Bears. I don't know where this Bernstein came from.
It's just what you referred to that. Everyone around you referred to them as that. It's just the reinforcement. I know you're looking at me like bullshit, but I'm like, I'm sorry to poop in your Cheerios. I'm sorry. I mean, I want the world to be this magical, mysterious place too, but...
You're dead inside.
I'm not dead inside, but I can't. I need a little more.
Okay, and that's fine, because, like, one of the things I started this show with the principle of is I want to believe. So I gotta have some proof.
Yeah, I mean...
I totally get that. But, like, seriously, I remember the Berenstain Bears. Like that, because, like, when somebody showed me the book, Berenstain, I was like, you're full of shit. That's Photoshop.
I remember sort of that. I don't have, the concrete memory of it. But that's what I would have... If you would have... Before I learned about that, if you would have asked me, I would have said, yeah, Nelson Mandela died in prison. Yeah, it was the Berenstain Bears.
You remember Mandela dying in prison?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, that's kind of what...
I
think it's because he just kind of like... Everyone stopped talking about him.
Because he was in prison.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember that at all. Like, I knew he was alive.
I think it was just an assumption, really. I mean, I remember when he went to prison.
Yeah, see, that's what I think.
And then he gets out, and you think, oh, I thought he was dead.
Well, that's... I mean, see,
you don't hear about him.
See, my thing was, I didn't have the Mandela thing. I had, like, when Fred Astaire died in, like, 89, I was like, he was alive?
Yeah.
You're full of shit.
What other, like, Mandela, air quote, effects are there? But like I said, I remember the Optimus Prime turning that I do remember. Like when I watch Transformers the movie, it still surprises me that he just kind of desaturates.
Well, what gets me is I have spread that one myself just by bringing it up, and people are like, oh, yeah, I remember that. And I'm like, I just put that in your fucking head.
Yeah.
I literally just told you that you haven't thought about that since 1986. I just told you that, and now you think it's real. Like, now you're vehemently denying that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because I put it into your head. And I totally get that. Except for the Berenstain thing.
Yeah.
That is totally a thing that happened. Because of time travelers. Fucking with the timeline, and I'm the only one that fucking remembers me and the other people from the Berenstain universe. There's also the universe that didn't have that 21st cigarette.
God damn it. I wasn't there for that, so I can't say.
Okay, so me and Warren sit down in the Waffle House, right? We'd already had like a weird night. Like we were driving to Vicksburg, and we decided instead let's just stop in Bovina and go to Waffle House.
Strange things afoot at the Wahoo.
You're goddamn right. It took us like 2 hours to get to Bovina. It's like a 40-minute drive.
Jeez, how lost was Warren?
We weren't.
Just a joke.
We pull over, we get there, Warren gets a clean ashtray and immediately starts smoking because it's a Waffle House and they don't give a shit about your health.
At least at the time.
They still don't, because if you're worried about your health, you're not eating at a fucking Waffle House.
We can't smoke at Waffle House anymore.
Really?
You can't smoke in anywhere anymore.
I don't know. I'm on the way to you find the right Waffle House.
I think you can only smoke inside. I think only bars.
Baby. Bars?
I'm pretty sure.
Well, anyway, we stopped this. What? That tells you how long ago this was as well.
Yeah.
It was like 90, 98, 99. Anyway, we stopped. Warren immediately started smoking because we're like kind of freaked out at how long it took us to get to Bovina, and we have no memory of it taking that long. which I'm not saying we were abducted by aliens, but aliens.
Warren was going 5 miles an hour.
That's very, very possible. And we were just having a lot of fun. So we get there, he's smoking, right? Like I said, he grabbed a clean, shiny ashtray.
I'm also worried about his health after, knowing he smoked a fucking pack of cigarettes.
He didn't smoke a whole pack.
Well,
but he's sitting there looking, going, I didn't smoke that many cigarettes. You know how many cigarettes are in a pack, right? It's 20.
Okay.
20 cigarettes in a pack. They regulate that shit because they're not giving you shit for free in a pack of cigarettes, alright?
Yeah.
The fucking Carolinas. That's just how it works. He counts the cigarettes in the ashtray. He counts the cigarettes left in his pack. He's like, there's 21 cigarettes. There are no packs with 21 cigarettes. What are you talking about? He's like, count them. You know, your parents fucking keep cigarettes all over the place. The cigarettes are your third parent. Count this. So I count, and sure enough, there is a 21st cigarette.
I would like to point out I couldn't have done that because ashtrays and cigarette butts make me retch.
Okay, that's fair. You gotta remember, I grew up around.
Also use chewing gum.
Ugh.
Underneath the desk.
Oh man!
Like you're sitting in school and you accidentally touch under the desk. And
oh god!
You're
making me freak out. So we count, and there was a 21st cigarette, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were convinced we slipped into a world. Like Warren brought the pack with him.
Yeah.
But the Warren of that world had already smoked a cigarette. So it was his brand. So we just figured, well, that's the one difference. But I think the other difference is the Berenstain thing. Everything else is the same. But the books and that one fucking cigarette.
Okay.
I want to point out that Mike is looking at me. Like he just
you done?
wants to end. I'm done.
Yeah, but you know how those cigarettes are packaged, right? By machine.
Yeah.
They do make mistakes.
Machines cannot make mistakes.
Yeah. So I had a pack of corn dogs recently.
God.
It says on the box 16 corn dogs.
All right. Look, we were both high.
I always eat, no comments on my health, but I always eat 4 corn dogs.
I feel for you, son.
So I ate 4 corn dogs.
Mm-hmm.
One time, like a couple days later. This isn't like an every night thing.
I know.
This is a lazy
every
meal.
Night, there would be an intervention.
This is a lazy meal thing. Next night, 4 more corn dogs.
That's 8.
That's 8. So the next time, we're high as fuck. I'm like, I want corn dogs because I'm high and I'm not going to make anything more complicated than corn dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin's like, I want a corn dog.
No, I want to point out I started watching Bob Ross during all this shit.
Yeah. So I go to make corn dogs and I pull my 4 out. I notice left in the box 5 corn dogs. So I'm like, fuck yeah, Kevin's getting a corn dog and I still get to have 4 more corn dogs. So I had a 17 out of 16 corn dogs.
So
what I'm saying is that
the 17th corn dog.
That cigarette pack was just, very crowded.
I know that, but like after everything else that happened that night, we were willing to accept a dimensional slip.
I'm sorry to poop on your magic. But.
Like you always poop on my magic, and that's fine. That's why you're on the show right now. Because someone has to poop on this magic. That's what David did last week with the Mothman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, alright, so we've determined that the dude with the aliens is probably a fucking undiagnosed schizophrenic.
Mm-hmm.
Probably
is giving a little too much leeway, but yeah.
Okay. John Tidemore, obviously just a dude.
I mean, on the internet nowadays, it's just so... There's so many people that like yanking chains.
Now,
it's hard to be authentic.
This was before all that.
No.
Okay.
If it was on Reddit...
It wasn't.
You said it was on... Well, Tidor, but,
Tidor was...
I was talking about the first guy.
Oh, yeah, the first dude. Yeah, no, totally.
But even Tidor... I mean, they're still in the human subconscious.
Here's the thing. The fact that he turned up on a time traveler's forum.
Yeah.
A time travel forum. I'm like, okay, first off, either A, obvious place to do your shit, or B, where else am I going to share this stuff? Did you know he shared his schematics for his time machine?
Yeah. I mean, no, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's interesting. You should look it up. It shows like, I think it said something like, Oh, what's it called when two things are linked, no matter how far apart?
Quantum entanglement.
Quantum entangled singularities.
Okay, I don't know how you're going to get black holes to bump uglies.
I don't know. They fucking they met at a bar and they bumped uglies, and then he ended up in the 70s. Anyway, he was probably a troll, but it's still an interesting troll. It's way more interesting than this guy.
Yeah, no.
With his disclosure. Tidor said a lot of stuff that's interesting.
You know what?
Like, I highly recommend, if you have not heard of John Tidor except via anime, he's a character in some anime or a game based on an anime and manga. I didn't know until I was talking to Jacob at work.
Time Traveler Chan.
Oh, Time Traveler Senpai noticed me in the past. Oh, God. Blow my brains out after that. But, no, seriously, look up John Tidor. Ignore anything about anime or manga and read about him because it's really quite interesting. He at least knew how to spin a good yarn, and, like, he was open about everything. He wasn't like, I can't tell you or I'll have to kill you. It was like, yeah, no, I was really bored and wanted to stop off, see some family before they get killed in the oncoming apocalypse. So,
So I think this all brings to a head one thing I want to say.
Okay.
To any of you out there who think you have something like this happen to you, or any of the trolls that want to write something, and yank people's chains about this kind of thing, take some creative writing classes, please.
You really, really should.
At least make it interesting. If it's a bunch of,
Gobbledygook.
Subconscious vomit with no structure or thought.
Yeah, don't write like stream of conscious BS and just blah, 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 and then. No, just get in character, and when somebody asks you something, come up with an answer that makes sense. And don't overstay your welcome. If you're a time traveler, fucking leave at some point. You gotta go home, right? I mean, that's a given.
Yeah.
Okay, so that being said, Mike, if you had to be a time traveler abducted by aliens, which would you want to be?
Are the aliens hot?
They can be. Like the what are they called? The hybrids always are supposed to, like, be kind of hot, Like they're weird wayfish kind of, like, oh, hello, do you want to come inside? And I mean that exactly how it sounds. But then there's time travel. You can do all kinds of shit with time travel. Like be your own grandpa. Or just go back and see shit that nobody's ever seen.
Yeah, but I feel like either of these, if it would be in the context of the stuff that we've all heard about before.
No. Just ignore the whole...
No, I'm saying not in that, but I'm saying, I probably won't be able to tell anyone about this shit. And be believed. I'll have no proof over any of this happening, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'll be, when I get back, if and when I get back, it'll be like all the other people that are time travelers, air quotes, and alien abductees, air quotes, and that nobody will fucking believe me. So, traveling back to the past, I would know for myself, what the dinosaurs were like, but I can't advance human knowledge with it because no one will believe me.
Okay.
So, that takes, half of the reason I would want to time travel away, because I would like to, sure, seeing it for myself is one thing, but I can't tell, no one would believe me. Can't say, Tyrannosaurus Rexes were actually purple.
Okay, Mike... Should we just break this down and say you want to bang hot alien chicks?
What I'm saying is that, so after all this, my reason for either of those would be purely selfish.
Sure. What's wrong with that?
I think my selfish wanting to bang hot alien chicks is more than my selfish want to see how cool Jesus was.
Sure. Well, you get back there, Jesus is like, hey man, stop hitting that homeless guy. That's it? Whole religion based on that? I don't know why Jesus kind of swarthy in my head, but hey man, what's going on?
Well, he seems like he wouldn't be. He wasn't as.
I always thought Jesus would be pretty chill.
He'd be chill, but I don't know if he'd be. He hung out with whores and.
Hell yeah, dude.
So they were almost street, but good.
Yeah, I could get down. I could hang with that.
So
if I spoke whatever
Arabic.
I don't think they spoke Aramaic. What if they
Proto-Hebrew.
spoke Yiddish? Oh, Jesus, I want to bop on your schmeckle.
You killed me. Oh, no. Maybe one day we'll have to tell the people about Stanley, but not today.
Oh, yeah, no. We got more of Stanley coming in the future. Oh, sorry. But, yeah, no, I'm with you. I'd rather do the alien thing because, like, you know, who doesn't want to meet another culture and possibly, you know,
See where things go.
see what, you don't know what's going to happen. And also, if you're interested in that idea, there's a great documentary on Amazon Prime called Love and Saucers about just such a thing. You
And
need to
I
watch it.
like spaceships too, so.
Well, yeah, obviously. Who doesn't like spaceships? All right. Well, that's about an hour of content there from Kevin the Bastard.
Can you really
Mike.
put a quantitative measure on this content, though?
Quality content from Kevin the Bastard and Mike the Skeptic. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for...
Who made it this far?
Well, first off, for making it this far. Secondly, for the overwhelmingly positive response to the first episode. I cannot thank you enough for that. We'll be back next week with another episode. I'm not sure who the host is going to be. Possibly David again. And we're going to be covering the Hopkinsville Goblins, which is one of my favorite alien invasion cases. And also, it sounds like I'm talking about him named Hopkin Green
I was
Frog.
going to say, you can't say that and me not think Hopkin Green Frog.
Dude, what do you think I'm calling the episode?
that-
Hopkinsville Green Frog.
Is that why you used a frog for the...
Kind of, but
Podcast.
also that's like the whole Loveland Frogmen thing, which we'll talk about in another episode some point in the future when we talk about weird crap.
So if I'm coming back for episode 4, what are we going to talk about?
What would you like to talk about?
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll figure it out, you know? We'll figure it out. I've got like a whole list. Maybe we can talk about those weird Asian head ghosts.
Oh, God, those are creepy.
Yeah, they are. Like really weird crap. We'll talk about something.
Yeah.
Something scientific. How's that sound?
Okay.
Okay. Well, if you would like to get into, hey man, if you want to talk to me about that car for sale, no. If you would like to suggest a topic or just let me know what you think, hit me up at kotaotan, KOTAOTAN @gmail.com or at kotaotan, KOTAOTAN on Twitter. Mike, do you want to tell anybody how to get a hold of you?
No, because if this thing blows up, I don't want to have to get a new email address.
All right, so contact Mike by setting a sigil on fire and praying to Gorto. So,
Just email Kevin.
yeah, get in touch with me if you have anything you want to talk to Mike about. Yeah, all right, so I will see you guys next week. Possibly we will see you guys next week. Who knows? And until then, stay frosty. Good night, everybody.
Supernatural Selection has been a production of DeviantBehaviorRadio.com. You can find it and more shows broadcast weekly at DeviantBehaviorRadio.com. Our theme music is Screensaver by Kevin MacLeod. It is used through Creative Commons license, and more of his music can be found at incompetech.filmmusic.io.